Obviously, really disappointing. Especially in that first half, the way we came out with our lack of effort, lack of communication. Our inability to be physical with them, and you got to give credit to Evansville. They set the tone in the first half. 16 second chance points in the first half. They were the more aggressive team, the more physical team, and we didn't respond for whatever reason. And then the second half, we had moments where we strung together some plays. They made some timely shots as well during our run, but ultimately, we did not deserve to win that basketball game. We flat out did not deserve to win that basketball game for the way we played for 40 minutes. And Evansville executed better. They were more physical, and that's really disappointing. And I've got to do a better job of getting our guys ready. I mean, we're at game 28, and we come out like this on our home floor in the first half. It's just really disappointing.
Okay, we'll vote for questions. Let's go first. Right.
So, like you said in that first half with how it went, there was a big turnover ratio between you and Evansville at 8-2, with them winning that, obviously. Do you think that played a key part as it ended 11-8?
Yeah.
So with y'all winning in turnovers and being able to get more points off those turnovers than the Purple Aces, do you think that was a big portion of how the second half went?
No, absolutely. In that first half, with our inability to rebound the basketball, there's 16-0 on second chance points, and then the turnover margin being 8-2. That's 6 more possessions plus your offensive rebounds. They probably shot 10 or 11 more shots in the first half than we did, and it's a big reason why we were down 10. And again, Evansville's not typically a high-scoring team, but they were on pace to get 92 points against our defense, or I should say our lack of defense. But again, I give all the credit to Evansville. They came in here, they punched us in the mouth, they played physical, they were more aggressive, and they absolutely dominated us in the first half.
Yeah, the bench tonight, 29, IS Indiana State outscored 29-0. What did USC there?
Well, I mean, again, the way their roster is, they've got 5 really good starters, and they typically don't get much scoring from their bench anyway. They had 4 guys in double figures, and they're really good players, and they present some matchup problems with us with their size, and that's kind of how they've been this year. They don't typically get a ton of bench scoring. Obviously, when we bring JD off the bench, that's a strong area for us. So I just think that was the flow of the game. But again, we had too many guys tonight, whether it was guys that started or guys that came in. There were too many lapses where they were just out there. They weren't being productive. They weren't being engaged. They weren't playing with force. And at game 28, I'm not sure what their focus is. We have 1 game left in this building, and to play like that on your second to last game, I just can't tell you in a non-profanity laced way what I really feel about our performance tonight in our home building. It absolutely makes me sick to come out and play the way we did in front of our fans. I'm just so disappointed. So disappointed.
Great.
After all that, though, the bad, you still had a chance at the end, tie the game, and then get a couple of decent looks to tie it again, though, too. Because we've seen that fight all year, though, but it's still frustrating.
And that's the thing. And I told those guys, we're at game 28. There's no moral victories. If we would have somehow pulled that game out, we did not deserve to win that basketball game. And now, believe me, I would have taken it. But at the same time, we gave ourselves some chance. We had a group in there that was fighting. They were making some plays. I believe in the second half they got 0 second chance points. We cut down our turnover number. We got to the free throw line. We played with more force. But we just set such a bad tone in the first half. And and again, credit Evansville in the second half. They made a couple timely baskets that really stymied the tide a few times as well.
Coach, with Harden being out today and Forrest and Daughtry working really well
Yep.
together, do you think his timetable would be further out, in which would include the tournament? Do you think those two would be able to pair really well going into the tournament, as well as trying to make a deep run for it, as they look really good together?
You talk, Derek and JD being together. Yeah, and again, it was nothing. Marcus didn't do anything, wrong. I felt like Derek, obviously in the last game, performed well, gave us good minutes, and in the course of a game, it's hard to play three different fives, if you will. And JD, is a 5-man for us, the way we play and our spacing in our offense. And, I just felt like in the rotation, Derek had earned the right to, play minutes tonight and see what he can do. And, certainly he did some good things. And, but again, I'm not down on Marcus. It was just a situation where, there's only so many minutes you can play guys at the 4, and I thought JD was in a really good rhythm offensively, and Derek had some good moments tonight, and I know he's frustrated and he wants to play better, but in that starting role, I think we're going to take a look at it here for the next couple games and see what happens.
So, what are maybe the three keys the team will take going into the game down in Nashville on Saturday?
Well, I think key number one is you got to play a lot harder, and in this league, anybody can beat anybody, from whoever the first place team is all the way to whoever ends up 12th. When we go to St. Louis, if you don't play hard and you play with a lack of energy, you play with a lack of togetherness, we're one and done. We'll be packing our bags on Thursday and heading home if we don't play with a sense of urgency and play as hard as we can. And to me, it's not about a bunch of keys. That's the number one key that I'm going to take from this.
You guys have got 3 more conference games
Yep.
and you head over to St. Louis like you're talking about.
Yep.
Obviously, you guys can't get to the top of the standings, but there's still enough for you guys to move back and forth. Going into St. Louis, what is the message to the team saying what we got to do these last 3 games to get where we want to be once we get to St. Louis?
Well, the biggest message is, we have to understand that, time is limited. We got 3 games left, like you said, and then it's a one-and-done tournament. And you have to have a focus, a sense of urgency, a togetherness if you want to advance in that tournament. And certainly over these next 3 games, though, you want to be trending in a direction where you have confidence going to St. Louis. So we're in a situation, we might have been mathematically eliminated from the top 4, with this loss. I'm not sure. I think we were. There was still an outside chance we could get a bye if some things happened and we won out, but obviously that didn't happen. So we know we're going to play on Thursday at this point. And really, whether you're the 5 seed or the 12 seed, it all comes down to matchups. Anybody in that 5 through 12 can beat anybody on a one-off night. And so, again, it's how well you're playing at that time. But, again, ultimately, it's your effort and your energy and your focus. It's got to be, much better. And all teams, when they get in the tournament in a one-and-done setting, everybody's energy should raise. Everybody's focus should raise. We don't want it to just turn on there in St. Louis. We need to be trending that way over the next 3 games.
Any final questions?
Yeah, just kind of how is the team going to really approach these final 3 games, especially with a really tough game on Saturday?
Well, anytime you go on the road, it's tough. But we can't. And we said this. I said this to them at halftime. I said this to them at the end of the game. We can go over scouting reports. We can go over film, but you can't out-scout, out-scheme energy, effort, and focus. If those aren't there, it doesn't matter. You might as well not waste your time going over what a certain team's going to run, anything about their personnel. You've got to play to an initial standard with your effort, your physicality, your focus. And we did not meet that standard tonight. So if we expect to go win on the road, we got to first get to that standard.